Welcome to People and Peloton, the SD Worx podcast where cycling and business come together. In every episode, we put two conversations next to each other, one from the boardroom and one from the Peloton. Together, we'll discover their similarities and what both can learn from each other. And today, we'll explore what great development really looks like, how you identify and develop talent, how to keep employees engaged throughout their growth, and how team support and mentorship plays a role in all of this. Joining me today are Ellen Claes, People Director at SD Worx, who knows everything about talent in the office. And next to her, we have Erwin Janssen, Team Director at SD Worx-Protime cycling team, making sure that a professional cycling team has what it needs to perform at the highest level. Welcome both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As a young girl, I always watched these girls that I'm now riding with on the television, and it's really a reason for me to step into this team in the first place, to be able to learn, because I know that these girls have so much experience, and every day, and not even only on the bike but also off the bike, you learn so much. Just at the dinners about nutrition, and but also like how to keep yourself mentally strong. But for sure the most you learn is in the racing, how to keep yourself positioned, strategies and stuff like that. So it's amazing to see how much I can learn, and I hope to learn more and more the coming year. Of course, last year I didn't do so many races due to a knee injury. But the races that I did, I got so much feedback, and you learn so many lessons already. And also at the training camps, there's just so much to learn that I didn't even know that I had to learn those things. And for sure. And also they make me super strong. The training camps, I remember the first one, it was so hard. I was sleeping every day for 2 hours after the training. So they really get me to a higher level. Like in races, sometimes when I think it was in Australia, and I wasn't keeping the girls good, like out of the wind, and then Barbara was helping me out with like, okay, go a bit more left, a bit more right, so we are all out of the wind and stuff like that. And then you really start to think more and more of it. And also in race meetings, it's like we rewatch the sprints, and even though I'm not a sprinter, you can still learn so much about what the right moments are to go. So like tactic-wise, there's big steps. Yeah, sometimes you forget that there's the whole team, but or you don't even know. But we communicate. You say, okay, a bit more to the left, and the whole team is behind you, and it's also super motivating to know, like, the whole team is behind me now. I'm working for them, and it's really nice.
Erwin, if I may start with you, when you look at a young rider, is there something that can tell you straight away, this one can go all the way?
No, that's not so easy.
If you had to pick one, is it maybe mostly mindset, or that physical capacity, or their learning speed, or is there any of them more important than the other one maybe?
I think all the three are really important to have in that rider to become maybe a world-class rider. And of course, they need the physical things to have. But of course, mindset. I think mindset is at the end the most important to reach really the world top in cycling.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and consistency?
Of course, consistency is really important. Also, as a young rider, you need to understand. And sometimes we say what comes quick is really good, but in the really professional cycling world, also in women's cycling where we are now, we need to think and we need to see that's always a step by step. And it's not so easy to grow from a young talent to a world top rider. And in the past, it was maybe some quicker possible. But nowadays, with the competitors, what we have in the cycling industry, that's really hard.
Maybe if I reverse that question, Erwin, is there any early on red flag or a sign that this one is going to struggle at the top, this one is not going to handle the pressure that it takes, that will come with it?
Yeah, sure. If we have talks with the girls before they come to our team, of course, then we have numbers. We have good. Let me say, we saw their results, etc. But when you don't see and when you don't feel in those meetings that they really are also convinced that they can reach the top or world top or whatever it is, then we think is a red flag.
So confidence.
Yeah, confidence, but not in let me say in the right way. Confidence, of course, because we are a number one team, and if you come there as a young talent, it's always, of course, difficult to find your position, so there are always world-class riders in front of you, so mentally. As a young rider, to become in a number world team,
that's a lot to handle.
Is a really lot to handle. So if we see or feel that they are adapting too much, then it's a red flag.
It must be hard because the young talent is probably impressed by the other ones who are big names.
Yeah, of course.
That's something you notice.
Yeah, of course. That we know that, and we have the experience with that. But we have, I think, a lot of examples that even young riders who came with us reached the world top in 3-4 years.
Right.
So if we find the real talents, then it must be possible.
Ellen, finding young talents, that is right up your alley, of course. That's exactly what you do at SD Worx. But do you resonate with what Erwin is saying? We're talking about mindset. The physical activity is less important, I think, but the confidence, or can they be too confident when they start out? I don't know.
I think from the physical part, indeed, that's
make
not
abstraction of that.
Yeah, indeed. But the physical part, you can compare it with the skills in general.
Of course.
General skills who need to be there. But we often say hire for skills, train for hire for attitude, train for skills. So if the base is there and you have the right attitude,
that's the mindset you're talking about.
We look about talent, then we look about people who have the potential, who have learning agility, but who are also maybe a little bit humble. Humble on one hand, but also self-confident enough to make it happen in the end. So it's actually a combination of all those things.
Can we call it humble and hungry?
Yes, I think that's the good.
That's a good attitude for any young potential. When I read the room, I think in any type of place where we start as a young talent. Maybe the red flag question, Ellen, for you as well. What is a red flag for you when you have that first conversation with a potential?
For me, it's the self-awareness. Maybe also already a kind of a maturity. You expect even also with young talents
So you expect them to have self-awareness. That's
exactly
what you mean.
Yeah.
About their talents, about their
about who they are, and indeed.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Maybe an extra question could be to give us an example, Ellen, to give us a certain moment at SD Worx where you really recognized a talent and also saw the fruits of your guidance of them?
Yeah, I think for me, it's a kind of a process. It doesn't happen overnight. No. And it sometimes there is failure, sometimes there's success. But in the end, it should all come together. And when I have my moment of pride, let's say, when I see someone you coached and you brought to the next level, is a moment when he or she brings a topic to the floor, and when he or she also gets recognized by other people, and that they see that there was a nice growth path.
Okay, maybe back to Erwin. How does the team mentor young riders on their way to top performance? And maybe an extra question with that, how do you balance, because I think it's a very delicate balance, the pushing them and still protecting them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still young.
Yeah. That's a really big item, of course. What we try to do is first of all, they have an own coach.
Okay. Yep.
So they have a one-to-one coach, and then of course the sport directors. They talk a lot, of course, with the young talents, and we have the meetings with them to develop, to look to the numbers, how they can improve, etc., etc. But I think what also worked really well is that we always try to have an experienced rider, one of the top riders, who is a kind of a buddy for the young talent.
Okay.
And that works really good. For example, now this year we have Nienke Vinke as a new rider in our team. She's 21 years old, a really great talent for sure for the stage races, uphill races. And we have as a kind of a buddy Anna van der Breggen with a lot of experience. And she tries to help that young rider to develop. And our experience is that is one of the most effective ways of developing.
Very pragmatic.
That's pragmatic. But it's always because that young talent's always looking up to one of the top riders. They show the world what they can. So that works really well. Even much better than only the director sportief, a sports director, talk with the girls. So the combination of all is very pragmatic, but really good. And then the second question you ask is the push,
versus
the push
protect.
Versus protect. That's really difficult. Because it's top sport, and that's even much harder than in the business. And especially if you're a young talent in business, we say, he's young, and we understand that. But in the top sport, and if you're number one of the world, of course, we protect them. But also, we want to see progress. It's a talent, but we want to see progress. So sometimes you protect, but sometimes, of course, we really push. And sometimes we push hard to bring them also to next level. That's also, let me say, our goal. But it's depending also about the talent. Some need some more pushes. Otherwise, you need to protect a little bit more. So that's, you always
That's also a tailor-made approach?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there room for mistakes for the young talents?
Of course. Now,
they have to learn.
It's not that hard. They need to learn. We want to learn with them, of course. And we give them their chances. And if it does not happen, okay, it's not that then. That we, let me say, take them very hard. Of course not.
Yeah.
But
Ellen, is that the buddyship, for example? Is that something that you do at SD Worx as well?
Yes, we do it. And I really like the example because I think it's a very nice example also in the business world where you have that mentorship, where you can have experienced, seasoned colleagues who guide and take
seasoned,
the youngsters.
I love that word.
the youngsters with you and guide them. And also indeed, also in a business context, people can really look to these people and take them as an example, and you can learn a lot. You have the classic learning in classroom, but on the job and with a good example, you learn the most.
Yeah, sure.
Erwin, have you ever made a mistake as a leader where now in hindsight you think, yep, I did that the wrong way. That was not the way I was supposed to do that. Maybe you pushed too hard. I'm just thinking out loud, or...
Yeah, sure. We learned, of course, in the last 10 years also a lot. But yes, of course, we had some examples years ago that we maybe expected too fast.
Right.
Too fast. That the talent.
Too much too fast.
Yeah, too much too fast. And that's... You see also that the industry is really developing. So the way you worked 5 years ago is not possible anymore. So we learn from our past, and of course we make mistakes, we learn for that, but most of the time was maybe that sometimes we push too hard and wanted too fast.
Absolutely. Ellen, I think you mentioned before that growth journeys are rarely linear. And I wonder how you keep young people motivated and engaged when maybe progress feels for them too slow, or when the promotion is not right around the corner, but you still want to give them that feeling of don't give up, keep doing what you're doing. Because young people, I think, tend to always want to see more and more immediate results.
Yes, indeed. And I think the opportunity we have as a company, as SD Worx, that we are fast growing anyway. So it means things
go fast anyway.
It goes fast anyway. We have opportunities. We have a lot of opportunities for people who want to grow. So I'm not that concerned about that part, but sometimes talented people also want to go a little bit too fast, faster than they can go. And then you should indeed protect them and give them that open and honest feedback also. Like, okay, maybe it's better to wait a little bit to get a little bit stronger before you take the step and before we burn you. And that's really important.
Yeah.
In the cycling, I'm guessing you have something to say about that as well.
Yes, I think, but there is one big difference, is that you see in sports, and of course also in cycling, that it can be that they are really young, but they are so talented that you must give them also the possibility to grow fast. If it's in there, you need to give them the possibility. And you cannot say them, you need to wait, or this or that, or there are
that's
other
not for
top
you
riders.
now.
So you always need to manage this really talented riders. If they knock on the door and we feel and see that they have the possibility, then you need to give them. And I think that's different in business. For sure, if they are so young, we speak about girls from 22, 23, 24. If they really knock on the door, you need to give them the possibilities to show their qualities.
And I don't think it's that different, because if it's a really talented person, then indeed you should go for it. And also at SD Worx, there are those possibilities. I see. But that's for me then even the difference between what is a talent, and is it that high potential? Is it a talented? I think you still have different levels in that one. But I agree. And also in a business context, we should make it happen as well, because otherwise you lose those people.
Yeah, because I think really in business, I see it also in my own company, then there's also, if you're 22 or 23 or 24, and you really are a top talent, it's not that fast that they get a manager's position when they are 22, 23. And with us, it's possible. We have some riders, they knock on the door if they are 23 and they are right there. Yeah, then you need to give them the possibility and not in 2 or 3 years, you can knock on the door again.
That's a great comment, because I think indeed there needs to be in the business world some kind of organic growth.
Exactly.
To be, let's say, to be a leader at 25 or 30, which is possible. I think at your own company, you have amazing examples of that. But they still went through the learning curve, even if it was fast. But they still had to run through a couple of functions before getting in a leadership function.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it also about intrinsic motivation, Ellen? And if you feel that someone has that, you want to hold on to that person?
Absolutely. I think you can really build on a lot on people who are intrinsically motivated also for the long term. It's not only about rewards, but it's much more than that indeed.
How important, Erwin, is feedback for young talent?
That's necessary, and it's really important. We are in top sport, so it's really important to do it immediately, to be clear, talk clear language, don't turn. So that's really important. So that's also our DNA, to do it in a direct way, of course, constructive, positive, etc. And sometimes hard. Yeah, that's sometimes necessary.
That's why they have to have a growth mindset. Otherwise, you're not capable of doing...
Otherwise, they will not survive.
Never.
They will not survive. Sometimes it's hard, but it's necessary to... It's top sport. And there are some other rules than mostly in the business.
Ellen, is young talent today open for feedback?
I think so. Yeah. Absolutely. But for me, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it, how you bring your message. And that can make the difference.
In a constructive way.
Absolutely. Yeah. with respect for the person, but still open and honest.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know, Erwin, if you have an example of how you gave feedback in a constructive way and how this really changed the path of one of your young riders?
Yeah, sure. I think we have several examples, but from last season, I think was a really nice one. We had Misha Brederwold, that time 23 years old. So she was a big talent and she won already some big races. But she really wanted, and we really knew that she could do that. She wanted to win this really big World Tour class race. And then I think she was doubting from, can I win this? Can I do this? Etc. etc. And I remember last year, just 1 week or a few days before the Amstel Gold Race, Danny Stam sat down with her and talked with her and gave her the feeling from Mish, okay, it takes time, you're a talent, but you're ready for it. You need to believe in it, etc. etc. And then 2 days later, she won the Amstel Gold Race. And it was a fantastic race. And the way she won that, that shows mentality, that shows power. But I think in that way, we really help her in that last piece of believe and you can do it.
But she had the confidence.
She had the confidence,
for
sure. She had it, but she was doubting. And that's, of course, the top
She was
sporter.
in doubt.
Yeah, the top sporter, they have good, let me say, they have, of course, periods that they believe and they are convinced that they can win that race. But of course, they have also their periods that they think, can I win even a race? And that's always difficult because you start with, let me say, around 150 or 175 riders. There's just one who can win those races. So I think that was a good example, from Misha.
Do you have a moment, Ellen, that you remember from your career where you said, that's where I made a difference with my feedback, maybe something they didn't expect? You would say, I can assume that in top sport, you usually know what your skills are, sort of more or less, but maybe in the business world, 1 or 2 times people don't even know what their strengths actually are, or aiming for a commercial position and they're actually super good in administration, but they would love to be commercial, and you have to say, I'm sorry, but I don't think you are.
It happens, and it happens quite often, but that's also a little bit to do with the self-awareness.
Right, from the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning. But then at the same time, people also give the answer themselves, because you see them struggle. You see them struggle, and actually, if they're honest with themselves, they know they're struggling. So you can open that dialogue and show them the mirror. But it's not always easy, and sometimes it's really difficult for people to accept. That's correct.
Do young riders come in, Erwin, and always know exactly where in that cycling team they belong?
Not always. Some talents is pretty specific what they can, and where we think that they can grow in.
For them, for those like myself who are amateur, we're talking about, are you a sprinter? Give us a couple of examples.
Uphill rider or time trial or whatever. So most of the time we know that, but we have also talents, if you look, and they came to us, that we need to experience with them where they can
discover their skills together.
Yeah, discover their skills. Yeah, absolutely. But most of the time, of course, you have an idea. For sure, the top talents, then you really know from, okay, it's this or that part from cycling.
Okay, well, let's discover together how the young talent in the peloton developed and experienced this journey.
Of course, it is a lot with meetings, because those are mainly like the learning points for everybody. You discuss those. Because, of course, as a young rider, you learn the most, but everybody is always learning, I think. But also because in this team you have so many experienced riders, and the best riders in the world, I would like to say. So they have so much knowledge, and they're eager also to give that knowledge to us as younger riders. So it's nice to see that we are eager to learn and they are also willing to give their knowledge to us. So that's the right combination, I think. And then great results will come.
Let's go to the rapid fire questions. Very briefly, Ellen and Erwin. Maybe, Ellen, starting with you. If there's one talent development tool that you would steal from the cycling that you heard today, what would that be?
My key takeaway is actually the mentorship. It's something we have within our company, but I think we can further reinforce it.
Improve.
Yeah.
Okay, room for improvement. Erwin, something that you think, interesting. I'll steal that from the business world.
Yeah, what you see, I think more the long-term vision, and the long-term goals.
Okay.
And what you see in Top Sport is most of the time we look to the season or the next race, etc., etc. And I think we picked up also from we have a longer view, on our team.
Okay. One red flag that tells you that you're not developing talent as you should be. It's not working. What is the red flag? What is that?
For me, it's when I see leaders treating their people like mother hen and not letting them fly. And yeah, that's really a pity, and that's something we really should avoid.
That stands in the way of development sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, for us, a red flag is if we pick up young top talents and we don't give them everything we have to develop them to the top. So that's a red flag. So we need to do everything to bring them there.
Mm-hmm. One habit, it could be a daily habit, that accelerates growth.
For me, crucial in the whole development journey is leader. The leader who keeps track on the growth, the personal growth part, the also individual growth part of a talented person.
Erwin, can you repeat it?
Do you have a habit? It could be a daily habit within your leadership where you notice this really accelerates growth. It could even be something you say, something motivational you do that you notice that.
I think that we are. If you look to our team, I think one of the habits is this: our DNA is every race we want to win, and that's so in our DNA. All our girls and our staff knows that, and I think that's a habit where we, what's typical Team SD Worx-Protime,
and then they want to be part of that.
Exactly.
That could be infatuating. And finally, one question: every leader, according to you, should ask themselves. Maybe on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis, maybe every night after the work. What is something a leader should always ask themselves?
Yeah, I think, is there enough trust from your riders and staff in you as a leader?
That's a good one. Trust. Ellen.
And what did I do to make my people grow?
All right. Trust is important for that growth as well. Thank you so much, Ellen and Erwin.
Thank you.
Now, if I would summarize this episode in one mantra, it would be hire for attitude, train for skills. Ideally, you want your talent humble and hungry. Talent development doesn't happen overnight, but luckily a helping hand in the form of a buddy and mentor can be found right on your office floor. Of course, feedback plays a crucial role in talent development, and most of all, give your little birds the opportunity to fly when the time comes. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Discover the other People and Peloton episodes about cycling and business at sdworx.com or at your favorite podcast platform, of course. Until next time, bye-bye. SD Worx.